This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our new sponsor, Curaleaf, one of the leading vertically integrated cannabis operators in the U.S., with operations now in 10 states with 34 dispensaries, 12 cultivation sites, and 10 processing facilities that have served more than 100,000 registered medical marijuana patients. With that kind of footprint, the folks at Curaleaf know they have a responsibility to do things right, which is why they spend a lot of time helping to educate their customers about the best ways to utilize cannabis and why they pour so much energy into their robust research and development programs. And because Curaleaf has been operating in states requiring vertical integration, it's had the chance to build expertise in the whole cannabis supply chain, from cultivation through dispensing. Learn more about all the good work that Curaleaf does and find the nearest Curaleaf dispensary to you over at curaleaf.com, which is spelled Curaleaf. That's curaleaf.com. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Tuesday, December 11th, 2018, and you're tuned in to episode 626 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. We start the day off with an international story, as The Guardian is reporting that the nation of New Zealand has taken an appreciable step towards legalizing medical marijuana. As The Guardian story has it, the New Zealand government just passed a bill that sets in motion the lifting of some key restrictions on medical cannabis use. The most immediate effect of the new bill's passage will be the extension of protection for terminally ill medical marijuana patients from being prosecuted for their choice of medicine. The new legislation will also allow New Zealand companies to start producing medical marijuana products for both domestic use as well as for exportation. New Zealand is expected to hold a public referendum on further reforms within the next year or two, with more bills slated for introduction to further liberalize medical cannabis policy. Swing over to The Guardian for more on this one. Our second story today is a good one, as we have an update on a story we reported on yesterday. 78-year-old John Flickner, who I reported on yesterday for being evicted from his apartment because of his registered medical marijuana use in New York State, has been given back his apartment by the housing agency that tossed him out last week, literally into the cold. Mr. Flickner wheeled himself more than a mile in his wheelchair in cold, wintry conditions to a homeless shelter after being evicted. The Buffalo News has a story up detailing the quick turn of events for Mr. Flickner, as LPH Capital, the Knoxville, Tennessee-based company that owns and operates the apartment building where Mr. Flickner was thrown out of, decided over the past weekend that it'd be better policy to not throw elderly people out into the cold because they find relief from pain by using vape pens. On Sunday, Mr. Flickner's lawyer was told he was welcome to move back in and offered that he's putting some conditions on before accepting. For one, Mr. Flickner wants written confirmation that he can continue to use his medical marijuana vape pen without further fear of being evicted again. From the sounds of it, LPH Capital seems to be actually reassessing their medical marijuana policies, so hopefully this ends up being a net positive. But even so, you can't take back the week that Mr. Flickner had to sleep in a homeless shelter or all the pain and trauma he's experienced in this situation. That should not have happened in the first place. A good one to read today. Wrapping up our top story today is Kyle Yeager over at Marijuana Moments, who helpfully posted up the full language of the 2018 Farm Bill, a piece of legislation that was just passed out of the U.S. Congress that will, for the first time in contemporary times, legalize industrial hemp. It's not a perfect piece of legislation, as it will ban anyone with felony drug convictions from becoming a hemp farmer, but legalization bills rarely are perfect, so on the whole, this one is an enormous win. We've been hearing for decades now how hemp is going to save the world, and it looks like 2019 will be the first year it will have a decent crack at doing so. If you're the kind of marijuana nerd that likes to read original legislation, this is a story you probably want to open up today. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out on headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, Curaleaf, one of the leading vertically integrated cannabis operators in the United States, with a total of 34 dispensaries, 12 cultivation sites, and 9 processing facilities. But Curaleaf is more than just a group of cannabis businesses. It's also one of the top legal marijuana consumer brands around. Since Curaleaf operates in a lot of states that require vertical integration, it's been afforded the opportunity to develop a world-class brand in its Curaleaf retail products. With Curaleaf vape cartridges, capsules, lozenges, vape pens, and concentrates, helping more than 100,000 patients find the relief they seek. Curaleaf also recognizes the need for quality CBD products, which is why they launched their Curaleaf Hemp line. When it comes to the art, science, and business of legal cannabis, there are few that do it better than Curaleaf. Swing over to Curaleaf.com today to learn more about this very cool company and to see if there are any Curaleaf shops near you. That's Curaleaf.com, which is spelled Curaleaf. Curaleaf.com. Thanks again to everyone at Curaleaf for helping make today's news possible. All right, time for the Blitz. The lines of shoppers waiting to buy newly legal adult use marijuana for sale at Massachusetts' new licensed dispensaries are still running long, now 3 weeks after they first opened their doors. This one shouldn't be too surprising, as there are a lot of people living in Massachusetts, to say nothing of the millions who live right over the border in any of the surrounding states, and there are just 2 shops open. But it certainly does speak to how much demand there is for legal cannabis. A lot of people seem to like this stuff. The state of Ohio has officially registered just over 1,000 of its first medical marijuana patients, with another 1,000 or so in the immediate wings to join them after a couple more steps. Ohio's medical marijuana program, when fully deployed, will be a fairly robust system with a list of qualifying conditions that includes chronic pain and PTSD. Medical marijuana regulators in Michigan just issued 24 new marijuana business licenses as the state continues its own rollout of a more expansive medical program. We've been all over this messy, convoluted licensing storyline as it's barreled on, but things seem to be relatively stable at the moment, and I do emphasize relatively there. After this latest round of license granting, Michigan now has a total of 91 licensed marijuana operators, including 45 provisioning centers, as dispensaries are officially known in the state. A good place to remind you that one of our sponsors, the Ohm of Medicine, is one of those 45 licensed provisioning centers. The Las Vegas Review-Journal has a good piece up about the newest round of marijuana business licensing issued by the state of Nevada, which will add 61 new dispensaries to the 65 already up and running. Those 61 new shops received provisional licenses and still have some final hoops to jump through before they can open, so it could be as long as a year before they come online. Crain's New York business has some sparse details up in a story about New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, who is reportedly planning on introducing a quote-unquote Green New Deal when the New York legislature convenes again in session next month. The legislation is sent to be a comprehensive bill covering legal cannabis and comes after a number of public listening sessions were held all over the state to hear from invested stakeholders. There aren't many more details beyond that, so just keep your eyes open on this storyline. Marijuana Business Daily has a handy chart of the week that shows in pretty stark terms just how difficult it is to be a legal medical marijuana company operating in the state of Iowa, which is marked by very expensive licensing fees while also being saddled with one of the smallest pools of registered patients in the country. Click over for the chart and the accompanying background and context. Finally, for today, the New York Times has a great long-form article up that you need to read in full. Their story looks at the dusty desert town of Needles, California, which has decided to use legal marijuana as a vehicle for building economic development. That story is interesting on its own, but made even more so by the fact that the mayor of Needles, one of the biggest boosters of legal cannabis in the town, is a former prohibitionist police officer who describes the change of heart he experienced on marijuana as being similar to a battleship turning around. Read this one for lots of reasons. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com and on our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily. Those are headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily. Visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Before we wrap for the day, I just want to give you a quick heads up about our holiday break schedule. It takes a lot of work to make this podcast and all the other shows that I now produce, in addition to our email newsletters, and I usually end up working every day of the week, even if the weekends are a little lighter on the hours. So in a bid to maintain my sanity and creative energy, I take a nice break in July and then again during the holiday season. So there will be no regular shows at all from MJ Today Media starting on Saturday, December 22nd and running through Tuesday, January 1st. We'll be back up here on the Daily on Wednesday, January 2nd. Thanks to our sponsor, Cureleaf, and to all of our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in, starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.